Yes, I see it. Okay, great. Okay, so could you start off? I'd like to go from the top of your rocket down. So if you could start off with your nose cone and just walk me through what you have there.
Okay. So for the nose cone, we used e-glass fabric. We provided our team with a medium density fiberboard mold, and then we laid up some fiberglass on top of it, and we set up an advanced vacuum system. So we took or vacuum from inside the nose cone and from the outside so that we could pressure from the inside of the nose cone and making sure that our layers were tight on the mold. We also provided our nose cone with an aluminum tip to give it a better sharp point. We have a mechanical linkage here. We basically have a bulkhead that is attached here with some epoxy, and we follow up by putting our nose cone tip from. We have a threaded hole in here, so it basically goes up in here.
Okay, and how long is your shoulder?
Our shoulder is 160 millimeters long, so it's basically like this.
Okay. And what is the diameter of your rocket? Is that shoulder at least one caliber?
Yes, it is. The diameter of our rockets, the outer diameter is 159 millimeters.
Okay, great, great. Okay, and then what do you have? Do you have anything inside of the nose cone?
We only have this bulkhead, which is fixed there with some epoxy, and the parachute, the main parachute, will go in here.
Okay, so the main parachute will be inside of the nose cone.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so do you have an eye bolt going on that nose cone tip?
Yes, there is also a hole in the nose cone tip. We will put an metric 8 eye bolt in here.
Okay, okay. So you have shear pins on this nose cone shoulder. Do you have those shown?
We still didn't drill the shear pin holes, but we printed something to align the holes, and we
Okay.
already have some shear pins. They are here.
Okay,
And
and what
they're
size are those shear pins?
metric 3.
Okay, and how many are you using?
There are 3 shear pins
Okay,
for
and
both the rock and the main section.
so I'm assuming you haven't conducted ejection testing yet.
We did, but we didn't use shear pins yet.
Okay, well, make sure you do it with shear pins.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
We have planned already tests on for Monday.
Okay. And did you use a calculator to determine how many shear pins you needed and what size?
Yes, we used the sharing strength of our shear pins to calculate how much black powder we need. We provided the details in, I believe, both of our progress reports and also our technical reports.
Okay, great, great. And then inside of this nose cone, you said you have your, was it your drogue or your main parachute?
Main parachute.
Okay. Could you tell me a bit about your main parachute, how big it is, and your shock cord lengths?
Yeah, so this is our main parachute, and it's about 3,250 millimeters in diameter. And our shock cords linking this, we'll be using this one.
Okay, and how long is that?
It has a total, I believe it was 5 meters. That's 5 meters. Yes, 5 meters, and two goes
to the nose cone from the tip to the main parachute is 2 meters. And from the main parachute to the eyeballs on this bulkhead is 3 meters.
Okay, so you said the main shock cord is 5 meters, and how long is your rocket?
It's about 2.5 meters long.
Okay. In your progress report too, I don't know if you remember seeing my response. I did say that your shock cord wasn't long enough. Your shock cord should be at least 3 times the length of your rocket.
Yeah, we had already ordered our shock cords, so we couldn't change them. That's why we're still going with the 5 meter shock cords, but we could change them still.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm not sure how long it takes for things to ship to you guys, or if you could ship to the shipping location that we provided and then pick up your shock cord there. Um, but I would recommend longer shock cord.
It will consider that.
Okay. Okay, and then so what are your connection points for this shock cord? You have an eye bolt in the nose cone. What's the bottom connection?
Bottom connection is here we have this rocket which goes in there. We have a metric 8 eyeballs. Like this is the bucket that goes inside the cutter. Which will sit to it. All of our bulk eyeballs are metric 8 and like this. We're
Okay,
also connected several links then.
so what are the bolt sizes for the bolts you're putting through the airframe to the bulkheads?
Magic 5 volts.
Okay, and how many of those do you have?
For the ones that have the item.
Okay, and have you done shear calculations on those screws?
Yes,
Okay, great.
we did our simulations according to the maximum expected shock loads on our mainland rope parachute, and we provided the details on our project technical report.
Okay, great. Okay, so do you have any quick links or swivels?
Yes, we plan to use these wheels, not this exact one, but
Mm-hmm.
and these wheels. These
Okay,
are
great.
all
Okay. So what is your drogue parachute size?
850 millimeters in diameter.
Sorry,
So
could you repeat that? What was that?
850
Okay, okay. And
millimeters.
then do you have any Nomex or parachute bags to protect your parachutes?
Yes, we have Kevlar
Okay,
blankets that protect our parachute.
okay, great. And then how many shear pins are you using for your drogue?
Also true.
Okay, okay. And then could you explain your deployment style for me?
So we're using black powder based injection system. So here we have our charge wells. We place black powder in these, and then we use a wedding material. Pack material, and now we pack the white powder in here, and we seal the tank with masking tape, and screw this cap on. So this is our ejection system. We have two ejection systems with two charge wells for redundancy.
Okay, great. Could you tell me a bit about your avionics bay?
And we mainly use two ports, altimeter and one ESRA altimeter.
Mikrofonu kapatıp geri açabilirim.
So you said you have two COTS altimeters and one SRAD?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
This year we designed a şu an ses
Bunu da kapamam gerekir sesi. Ses nereden duyulduğunu.
Ben şimdi
şu an tamam. This year we designed a circular design to change the design. Or can I explain that? I don't know. And we mainly use the COTS altimeters to deploy recovery systems. This year we won't use our ESRA system to deploy the recovery system. And we will use one RRC3 and one telemetrium or telemega. We will buy it when we arrive United States. Telemetrium and telemega has GPS tracker, but RRC3 does not have a GPS tracker. And also both of our backup telemetry unit and FCU flight computer unit has GPS tracker on it. One is 30 dBm and the other one is 20 dBm.
Okay. But you do have a separate GPS, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what is that GPS?
This system goes into payload, and this FCU goes into the avionics bay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Götür yanına koy.
And then you said
You
you're
can show
going to.
the payload.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
thank you. We worked really hard on this one.
Okay, well, could you tell me a bit about your payload then, since it's out
See.
here now?
Okay. Sen payload hakkında.
We only use
We
Okay, so we basically have a 3U volume in here. We divided the CubeSat in 3 sections. On the top part, we will house the telemetry card, which we will test it during the flight because the previous year we couldn't get the certification for next flights. The middle part will house the batteries. And on the bottom, we have the FPV camera module. We will participate to the live video challenge.
Okay, and so you said you have your GPS inside of that payload?
Yes, the same with the telemetry card, like on the top.
Yeah,
It's
and
this one.
is this payload made of aluminum?
Yes, the only steel part are these 4 steel bars, and the rest is made out of aluminum material.
Okay, so are you concerned at all about your telemetry inside of the payload since it's metal?
this unit has an antenna, and antenna will be out of the payload system,
Okay.
so it will not propagate with the metal.
Okay, great, great. Okay. And where is this payload attached?
We can open up this section if you wish.
Yeah, if you could.
Matkapla mı alalım dedim. Şey, değil. Alayım mı matkapla? Yok yok gerek yok gerek yok. Tamam. Yokmuş bir şey. So we have a payload adapter attached to the motor retaining bulkhead, and the payload will go inside in here. And then we have this other bulkhead, which will print the upper payloads adapter, and we will close it in.
Okay.
We won't
And
take the payload out from a rocket.
okay, what is that coupler made out of?
Aluminum as well.
No, the cup.
Oh, you
The
mean
coupler.
the adapter?
The coupler. It's made
Yes.
out of fiberglass,
this.
but we used a gel coat to make the surface a little better.
Okay, okay, I see. I was just checking since the color was different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And then how thick are your body tubes?
3 millimeters. All of
Okay.
our composite parts are 3 millimeters thick.
Okay. And then I know you haven't painted yet, but are you planning to paint before you leave for competition?
Yes.
We
Okay.
already will apply firstly a gel coat on the surface, and then we will paint it this week, hopefully.
Okay, great. And when you paint it, you'll have your team name, number, frequency.
Yes,
all
we
of that
already
good
made
stuff.
a template for everything, so it should be fine.
Okay, great. And then I've been telling teams I do suggest adding like your team lead's name and phone number or email address so that if someone finds your rocket later down the line, maybe they could contact you.
Yes, okay, we'll do
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So then all of your bulkheads are bolted in. They're aluminum and bolted in.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And then you said you were buying one of your altimeters once you get here. Have you verified that those will be available?
We watch the stocks, and when we arrive to the United States, which one will be available? We don't know, telemetrium or telemega, but they are already in stocks.
But they're already what? Installed?
In stocks.
Sahip değiliz
In,
henüz.
No, we don't still have telemetrium or telemega. We will buy it when we arrive.
Yes, I was just wondering, have you messaged the vendor and asked if they'll have it?
Yes,
Okay,
they have.
good, good.
They're in stock.
Okay, good, good. Okay. Could you tell me a bit about your motor setup?
okay. So we are using an IREC M2500 motor. Here we have 3 centering rings. These 2 centering rings also the fins also attached here with metric 6 bolts. And then we have an additional centering ring here. And then the engine block is here. We bolt the motor to our engine block, and we have this retainer, an extra retainer on the back to prevent the motor from falling out. So this is a threaded piece. This outer part will be epoxied inside our tail cone, and then this part screws onto that part, and we can secure the motor like this.
Okay. And what size do you have a motor tube connected to your centering rings?
No, they're all centering. We only have centering rings. There is no body tube, but we can show you if you want.
Okay.
Önden çekebilir misin motoru?
Şunları çıkarmamız lazım.
Okay. And then while you're doing that, all of your couplers have a length of a caliber on each side?
Yes.
Okay,
so
great.
our outer diameter is 159 millimeters, and our couplers extent, like this section is 160 millimeters long.
Okay, and your couplers are bolted into place? Or is that
Yes,
just the
so this,
bulkhead?
the bulkhead is inside our coupler, and there are also bolting holes on our coupler. So we bolt both the bulkhead and our coupler in with 4 bolts.
Okay, so is the bulkhead epoxied into the coupler?
No, the bulkhead also has threaded holes, so it's also bolted. So
Okay,
this goes inside our coupler, and then we bolt both the bulkhead and our coupler at the same time with 4 bolts.
okay.
So they're removing the motor right now.
Check.
And then you said you have an M2500 motor, so it seems you at least have the casing. Do you have the entire motor with
Yes.
you?
We don't have the grains, but we have
Okay.
ordered them from Wildman. They will be delivered to the event.
Okay,
get
so
them.
Wildman will be bringing the grains.
Yes.
Okay, great.
And this is the inside.
Okay.
Here you can see our centering rings. We have 3 of them, and the engine block is down there.
You guys make some cool looking plates.
Thank you.
Okay, so why didn't you go with a motor tube in the center of your centering rings?
So this is the exact design we used last year, and we had no
Okay.
problems with it.
Okay, great.
So also we have our rocket from last year.
Awesome. Okay, and then I know you have that retainer. Is that sort of acting as a thrust plate? Do you have a thrust plate specifically, or?
You mean this one
Yes.
or the other one? So this is only for supporting the weight of the motor so that it doesn't fall out.
Yeah.
The main thrust plate is our engine block right there. This
Okay.
engine block transfers the thrust force from the motor to the rest of the airframe.
Okay,
So
great.
that's why it has 8 bolts here.
Okay. And then what igniter will you be using with the motor?
We'll be using the igniter provided from Wildman, like we did last year. So they gave us a long stick with a pyrotechnic material wrapped around it, and then that's how we fired it. Like we're sourcing it also from Wildman.
Was it the double igniter?
I don't exactly remember which igniter it was, but I think, yeah.
Okay, so it's not the one that just comes with the motor. You bought an additional igniter.
Yeah, we bought an
Okay.
additional igniter. Also, last year, our flyer of records, I believe he applied some additional pyrotechnic charges on our igniter.
Okay.
So that's
And then I know that you said your recovery systems are using black powder. Are you
yes.
getting that in the United States or bringing it with you? How is that working?
So we can't bring black powder from here, obviously. We
Yeah.
have to get it from also from Wildman.
Okay, so you've confirmed with them that you can buy it there.
Yes, last year we got it from him,
Okay,
so we
great.
probably can also, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then could you tell me a bit about your fins?
So we have 3 fins. We have 2 fins on the front, 2 fins on the back. So the front fins are So our fins are aluminum. They are 5 millimeters thick, and they're bolted onto our centering rings here, as you can see, with metric 6 bolts. All of our threaded connections will have a thread locker fluid applied to them, like Loctite, so they
Okay.
don't come loose because of the vibrations of the flight.
Okay. And have you used this fin configuration in your previous rocket?
Yes, the exact fin configuration.
Okay.
Here you can see.
And you didn't have any issues with that?
No,
Great. Okay, and these fins are made of aluminum?
yes, they're laser cut aluminum.
Okay. And how thick is the material on those?
These are 5 millimeters thick.
Okay. So they're just bolting in. Are you going to add any sort of fillet to them?
We don't plan on adding any fillets
Okay.
for now. So they're just bolted in like this.
And can you kind of roughhouse your fins
After this.
for me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good, good. Okay, and could you tell me a bit about your boat tail?
Our boat sail. So our boat sail also comes in like our attaches like our couple. It goes between the this centering ring and the airframe. So we'll show you right now.
Çevir. Bir de bak.
Yok orada. Çıkar.
Çek.
So this is our boat sail. Here you can see the boat hose and the sections for the fins. This slides in between this centering ring and the airframe,
Okay.
and the fins go through these sections. Like
How long is that shoulder?
this. This shoulder is at least a caliber long, I believe.
I think 12 centimeters.
120
Millimeters,
millimeters.
yes.
Okay, so it's a bit less than one caliber then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, is there a reason for that?
I mean, mainly we wanted to keep it.
We planned on to use a 60 millimeter shoulder in the first place, but when we were producing the molds, the composite company that we were working with asked us to add 60 millimeters more, and then we just decided that it was fine like this. And I remember we also asked it to the forum if it was a problem for the tail cone to have a short shoulder, and they said it was fine.
Okay. Yeah, it's not too much shorter, so I think that should be okay. Okay, and then could you tell me about your fin flutter?
Our fin flutter calculations, we need to look them up. I don't exactly remember.
Okay. Okay.
Raporda olması lazım.
Şuralar.
And then have you put your rail buttons in yet?
No, we haven't, but we have them. I can show you here. But they're very close to metric 5, so we have no problem in attaching them. We also have so these are our rail buttons. They are 15 rail buttons. I believe we got them from Wildman last year. We also have this tap drill and tap set for setting the threads. He also bought it from the US last year.
Okay, great. And then have you calculated your effective rail length?
Our effective rail length was, I can look that up if you want. I don't
Okay.
remember it exactly.
Are you using it in your simulation?
Yes.
Okay.
In rock, in open rocket, we adjusted our the length of our rail to match our effective launch rail length.
Okay, good, good. Then another question while you're looking for that. What is your descent rate for your main and your drogue?
Our descent rates, maybe looked it up as well. Our descent rate for our drop parachute is about 26 meters per second. And for the main, it's about 5 or 6 meters per second.
Yani hava freni sisteminden bahsedecek misin?
Çok gerek yok.
Okay, and then did you find your fin flutter?
Sen anlatabilir misin? So, our critical velocity is 2.65 times higher than our maximum velocity.
Okay, great.
So we calculated with Excel, which based on Apogee rockets issues. So I think we are totally safe on the flutter side.
Yeah, great. Sounds good. Okay, well, those are all of my technical questions. The remaining questions I have are just kind of about your experience when you attend. Have you all been to competition before, or only some of you from the previous year?
Only some of us. I was at the competition. He was, and he was, also he was. And
Okay.
our academic advisor, we were at the competition last year. Also, our effective launch rail length is about 1.2 meters.
Okay, great. Sounds good. So I know the site has changed, but the climate will largely be the same as last year. So any of you who attended last year will know it's a dry heat. You have to make sure you drink a lot of water all day long. Wear long sleeve SPF shirts, long sleeve pants, no shorts, light pants. Anyone going out for recovery needs to wear boots, potentially steel-toed boots. So keep that in mind. And then how are you guys transporting your team? Are you renting cars while you're there?
Well, yeah, we're renting 2 cars from to Midland. We will of course come to America with plane.
Mm-hmm.
So our plan is like that.
Okay. So you're renting 2 vehicles. Are you staying in hotels or an Airbnb?
And Airbnb in Odessa. We already
In
booked
Odessa?
it. Yeah, Odessa.
Okay. So you're in Odessa the whole week then?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, just
from I guess we are planning to come a bit earlier than the competition at
yeah.
on the 7th of June. We'll be there, and we'll be staying till the last of the day.
Okay,
Last
great.
day.
Great. So will you be working on your rocket while you're here earlier?
Probably last year we made a couple of changes because
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, just
but mhm.
just make sure that you're being respectful to your Airbnb host. You know, they might have rules about what you can and can't do. That's why we ask if
Yes,
you're painting ahead of time.
yes, yes. There is a 5,000 fee for disturbing the neighbors, so we will be respectful.
Yes, yes, that's good. That's good. And then are you shipping anything to the address that we provided?
No, we will bring the rockets with us on the plane.
Okay, so you'll have it in separate suitcases or
One second, what? EREC motorunu Amerika'dan sipariş edeceğiz. Oh, yes, they warned me about a motor, maybe an electric motor, or maybe a coupling. We maybe bring it to the site by mail, but all the other
okay.
things, rocket and equipment that we use, will be bring with us on the plane with
Okay.
suitcases bought last year.
Okay, and you'll be sending those, is it like a stepper motor or?
Yeah, yes, the servo motor.
Okay, servo motor. Okay. And you'll be sending that via mail to the address that we provided, right? Not your Airbnb?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good, good. Okay. And then you're aware we are providing tents and tables,
Mhm.
but you do have to bring chairs or buy chairs once you get there.
Yeah, yes, yes. We will bring tools. We forgot last year, so we will bring food too.
Okay, yes, yes, definitely bring a lot of snacks and water, electrolytes. You've got to drink, I think it's like 2 liters every
Yeah.
30 minutes or something. You got to bring a lot of water. So make sure you're drinking. And do you have anyone designated to check on everyone, make sure they're drinking water?
Yes, yes. We will make buddies for two persons, so
Good.
they will warn each other.
That's good. That's good. Okay, and then you guys have all of your visas set up to attend?
Yes, yes.
Great,
We all have visas right now.
great, great,
We bought our tickets. We're on the track.
great, great. Okay, so just keep in mind, being in Odessa, the drive will be about 2 hours every morning, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna have to get up a bit early. I'm doing the same sort of drive. I'm also staying around Midland the whole week. Gates will likely open at 5 a.m. each day, so you'll probably have to leave around 3 if you want to get there when gates open, if you're planning to launch early morning.
Yes, we did last year exactly that same plan. We left the house in Las Cruces at 3 a.m. and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got lost on the way by the way because the Google Maps didn't work. So our plan will be there at the 5 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. I know that feeling. I was a student myself. We were waking up at 1 in the morning, getting everyone ready, so yeah. Uh, and then make sure that whenever you're going to the launch site, whenever you're going anywhere, you all have your paperwork with you, just in case there are some ICE facilities around who could potentially stop you, just like in Las Cruces, since we are near the border. So just make sure you have everything with you. Okay, and then I know uh your flyer of record couldn't make it here today, but he emailed me, so I'm gonna call that okay. And then do you guys have anything that requires a ham license?
Right now, already two of our computers already have amateur radio
Okay,
license, ham license, and I guess our one 9 MHz bunlardan birisi. Lisans gerekiyor ama.
Kendi gerektirmeyen var.
Okay, we already have one avionic that needs ham license, and we
Okay.
already have ham license too.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, that sounds good to me. I think you guys are getting ready. I know it's not fully complete yet, but are you waiting on anything to be completed or just to assemble?
We have some parts that we still need to manufacture, but we
Okay.
are like 90% done, I believe.
Okay,
Oyun
and
yapacak.
do you think you'll be done with those within this week?
Yeah,
Okay,
in a
great.
couple of weeks.
Okay, great. Okay, well, as I mentioned before, just make sure you're respectful to the Airbnb you're staying in. You're representing your country and our competition when you attend. So make good choices, stay safe, protect each other, stay together. And do you have any questions for me?
Spor durumundan bahset bence.
Actually, our force told us that he couldn't make it on the competition, so we need to
Oh.
replace him with someone else. Right now, we're trying to mail force, but we couldn't find a new candidate yet. So, is there a
Okay.
way to proceed faster or?
Forumda sorduk. Sorun olmaz dediler ama.
Yes,
So
so
that's our problem.
who have you been emailing about this?
I filled up the IREC mentor or flyer of record form on Tripoli's website, and I believe Mr. Berger contacted me asking for additional information.
Okay.
And, added his information.
Okay, well, I know that it seems like quite a few flyer records have been doing that. I've had a few of my teams that I've been reviewing tell me that their flyer record dropped out as well. So that's a little concerning, but I think it always happens. So we are prepared to set you up with a new flyer record if you need to. But I will say, my fiance is a flyer record for a lot of the Turkish teams, so I can ask him if he would be able, but I'll check with him.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, his name has been passed around, I guess. But okay. Well, thank you all. Make sure that you send the recording for this review to general.info@ezrarocket.org and just CC me so I see that you sent it. And
Okay.
that's all I have for you today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Safe travels. Bye.
Thank you.